Change is scary, but you got to stand up to it because you ain't got a choice. Either you go with it or you don't. And if you don't, change is still going to happen.
Welcome to Mended Men's Conversation, life lessons and legacies, where real men have real conversations. In every episode, we dive deep into the struggles, victories, and lessons that shape us as men. From mental health and fatherhood to faith, identity, and purpose, we are breaking the silence and starting the conversations that matter. Between us is over 12 years of professional experience and more than 140 years of combined life experience as fathers, sons, brothers, husbands, friends, and educators. We know that healing starts with an honest dialogue. So let's get real. Let's get ready. Let's grow together. This is Mended Men's Conversation.
Welcome. This is Mended Men's Conversation. My name is Titus Garnett.
And I'm Anthony Washington.
And we're here to have conversations about different subjects and topics that's going on in the daily lives of men, but also of people themselves, especially with everything going on in this country as it is today. This is not the United States people try to claim it to be. The subject for today is what is truth in society today in this country. Now, we could look at truth in many different ways, but Mr. Anthony, what to you, how you look at truth and what is truth in today's society in this country, the United States of America? Is there truth? Is there not truth? What do you think?
Is there truth? Yes. Is truth? Truth exists. Is there truth in the United States? Yes, truth in the United States. Is this country actually promoting truth? We're not doing that. We're doing our own thing. I would say we're doing 1619. That's what we're doing. What do I mean when I say 1619? I'm saying the government here has a mindset of taking us back into the year 1690. That's my opinion of the things they do. Are they trying to practice truth? Far from it. What they want to do is they want to practice authoritarian dictatorship. There's no truth in this administration. None whatsoever. That's just my opinion of what I see on a daily basis when I read the newspaper. I listen to commentaries. No truth being practiced. I mean, honest truth, where you can disagree with each other and not go behind their back and kick them in the back. And for instance, when I say that, I'm talking about how they're doing in Louisiana. The Supreme Court ruled that is racist against white people. Really? The maps, where they draw the maps now, they draw it up so it can benefit more white people. Like I'm saying, some of the things they do, in my opinion, is that they're going back in time, wanting to have control over another human being instead of helping somebody. Honestly, look at this war we're in. Don't make sense. There's no ending date. We don't even know why we're there, other than Israel wanted us to go. So no, to your question, there is truth, but are we practicing truth? Is this administration practicing truth? Nah, that's just my opinion. I mean, you might have a lot of people disagree with me, but hey, that's the beauty of this country. You don't have to agree with people, and feel like you're going to be blackballed. Yeah, that's why they practice. You say something to them, tell them a joke about one of them, they want to sue you, take you off the air, take me off the air. I could care less. But yes.
I've been trying, but you keep coming back, brother.
Okay. Well, the door is open. Let me see you walk through the door. Come on through.
To the door to lock you out. It ain't got nothing to do with stepping out.
Well, listen.
No, I hear what you're saying.
I think you're a little late on that one, bro. Because I'm in here now.
Oh, a lot late.
Walk through this door. Walk through the door. So what you think? Do you think this administration is practicing truth in this country?
The administration is actually reflecting some of the people in this country, right? So
Okay.
Your first statement was, "Is there truth in this country?" Yeah, I understand what you mean because the administration is reflecting the mentality of a lot of people. Before I answer that question, I want to make a statement about the Supreme Court. By the decision that they made about the congressional voting districts down in Louisiana, saying that it was racist toward white people, basically what they were saying that those districts, you got to prove that they're doing it to racially segregate black people or minorities, period. If you look at the district, what in the hell else could it be? It's an insult to your intelligence for them to sit up
Thank you.
there all high and mighty, and to sit back and say, well, you got to prove that it's racially segregated to you and minorities, this, that, and whatever. And a lot of the things they were saying was trying to push it more toward black people and not discuss minorities in itself. All right. But it's an insult to your intelligence what they did. And these are supposed to be the brightest of the bright, right? These are supposed to be, well, they said the law, it's an insult. It's an insult. So, and how to reflect that truth? The truth in this country in a lot of ways is a lie. Democracy right now is a lie. It's showing itself as a lie. The Constitution may not be a lie, but the administration of it is a lie.
How they
All
practice
right,
the
because a lot of
Constitution.
people, how that's what I'm saying. The administration of the Constitution, how they practice it and how they're administrating it is a lie. But here's the difficult part, bro. In their heads, they actually believe they telling the truth. It's like a child. When you say to your child what happened in school or something, they get in trouble, and they come out and talk to you like, well, it happened like this happened, and that happened, and they want you to believe that bullshit. All right? And these are grown as adults, grown as men and women who sit up there in black robes and talk to you like you're a freaking idiot. But they try to, well, this and that, and ha 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 ha. Fuck them, all right? But see, here's the thing about that. All that shit has a tendency to backlash on them. Now, they know in their minds, they know damn well why the Republicans, why Donald Trump is changing around, making a change to the voting districts to get more Republicans in Congress so they can keep the Congress, so they can keep the power. And for them to sit up there that is not what the Republicans are doing is a fucking insult to God, to think
But
that, oh, hey, we, and we're honorable people. You about as honorable as a one-legged dog trying to run backwards. Okay,
now that's the first time
it's
I heard some shit
ridiculous. That's the first time I made that shit up. But anyway, you know,
like,
it's the whole idea that it's an insult, man. It is an insult to the Constitution. It is an insult to democracy. And see, here's another thing that makes it even worse. The King of England was here and he spoke in front of Congress, and he had to tell us how we're supposed to be because of our going through the Constitution, the Magna Carta, all this stuff about America, why we left them. Now, we got somebody that we ran away from, I'm talking about the country itself, and
got
said,
you.
and made a statement that was truth for around the world. Everybody looked at that and they went, wow, this is what we want. This is where we want to be. But now everything is a lie. It makes the Constitution a lie. It makes democracy a lie. It makes our system of living a lie. It makes everything a lie. And then the Supreme Court comes around and says, that's all right, as long as some people are happy.
But you know something that this is something they done. It's like I bring you over my house and I'm gonna show you how to play this game. And you start learning it, but once you start learning it, I start breaking the game. So it turns, and this is what they've been doing for eons. They put people in place. So when you go in a fight, some of these crazy ass laws, they're gonna side with them more or less like the Supreme Court. You always have the same three. that, to tell the truth and the other six. Go along with go along with this lie. I will say this much. I know they know what they're doing. They know that, they're losing control. And this is the only way, this is one of the ways that they can keep control of some type they assume they have, you know. But the world is looking at them, and, some of them really just don't care, most especially down south. They can care less about being right or wrong, as long as they can get what they want. And I say that is because not by what they say, it's but what they do, actions, They don't care. They don't care. But this is what we live in, and this is something that we have to deal with on a
Right.
daily basis. And
Right.
keep a mindset, as much as I don't want to forgive none of, I got to forgive them
Right.
and learn to move on to make
Mm-hmm.
sure I have a peace of mind as I live in this United States of America. I say that's what I'm agreeing with you, but
Well,
okay, go ahead.
I don't think about forgiveness. Fuck 'em. It ain't about forgiveness. You can't forgive somebody that don't think they did anything wrong. So the hell with them. And and here's the thing:
Best
they
thing
will
since
not.
sliced
And one of
bread.
the things, if you've noticed, what's been going on, I would say the last 10 years or so since Trump got in there, whatever. In the beginning, they called this man crazy. They called him the next Hitler. They
And
called him all kind of names. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're on their
yeah,
knees to him. So in other words,
yeah,
right. And so the next thing you know, they made his truth, which is a lie, the law of the land, overruns the Constitution, overruns democracy, overruns Jesus Christ. Here's this guy. Here's this guy that
that's all they're gonna do.
trying to show himself as Jesus, and that tweet which somebody made it, he retweeted it. He knew damn well what he was doing. But
That's
then
why I
when you
said.
talk to congressmen or people in power and
That's why I
say,
said
what do
they
you
know
think
what they're
about
doing
that?
because,
Three of
as you
them,
said
they say, oh,
before,
that's bad. He
yeah.
shouldn't do that. But the other
But
90
as you said before,
out of 100 are going,
they
what?
call
I didn't see
him,
the post. I didn't see it. I'm sorry I missed it. Lying
for
through their
example,
teeth. Once
Lindsey
again,
Graham.
not telling the truth
Lindsey
of what
Graham
he
talked
did.
about him like he was a piece of dirt. Now
They know it. So that's
they
why I
like
don't forgive him. Fuck him.
they like best friends, the girlfriend and boyfriend. That's because they had somebody to do their bid. They needed somebody in off in order to get some of the things that they want. Do they
Ah,
care for him? No. Do they think he's a fool? Yes, they do.
you
But will
daggone
they
right.
say that in front of him?
Daggone right.
They won't say it in front of him because he's doing their bidding.
Well, I'm gonna
Okay.
disagree with you a little bit. Not what you said. I'm just gonna kind of clarify something a little bit better. I don't think it's more like girlfriend and boyfriend. I think it's more like Lizzie Graham's his bitch. You know what I mean? And this ain't a family show. This
Pretty
ain't a
much.
family show.
Pretty much.
Lizzie Graham is
That's
his bitch, and
it's
everybody's
shameful.
fighting to be his
'Cause
bottom
now
bitch.
listen, me and you are everyday people. We living through this,
You know,
and
and it
we
don't make
see
no
this bullshit
sense.
that we have to deal with on a daily basis, minute by minute basis.
Hmm.
So imagine
Yeah,
what people in
yeah,
other countries see and say about what's going on here. I love to be a fly on the wall in some of them,
yeah.
not just in
Yeah,
England.
it looks bad. You know what? If they got any kind, I tell you what. If the King of England comes over here and tell us we look stupid, but he put it in a real nice way, I think pretty much
So does the
everybody over
world.
there in England know we're stupid. And if England know we're stupid, and the German, I'm leading to a point, and the German guy just got into Trump's ass about the war and everything a couple of days ago. Now, that means all of NATO know. If all of NATO's looking at us as being stupid, all of Europe looking at us being stupid. And if then China think, when Trump go over there to see Xi Jinping in about a week or two, he's supposed to go over there. He's going to be over there rubbing his
And don't
head,
forget
smacking his
Israel.
lip.
Don't
And
forget
he's going
Israel.
to go, oh, my
Don't
bitch
forget
is
Israel.
coming over to see me. Let me see how I'm going to fuck him. And that's how he's going to act, because Putin has pimped him. North Korea has pimped him. China has pimped him. Whoa, hold on now. Hold on. I ain't finished yet.
In the alleyway. In the alleyway.
Israel, instead of making him a call
In the
girl,
alleyway.
made him a street
He's doing
hoe.
it in the alleyway.
Do you know what I mean? At least the call girl gets to get dressed up in furs and go out there and blow you. He's down on his knees blowing Netanyahu. Now, I know this is a public forum in the sense that they're going to look at me and say, why are you saying these things? Huh? Say that? In the alleyway. He's in the alley. He is a street holding Netanyahu. And the bad thing, and Netanyahu is telling him, listen, I want you to go out there and get me that money. And the money he's talking about is I want you to start a
Hey,
war
and
and
he don't
keep
care.
them damn Arabs standing on one leg, keep them off balance. Because Netanyahu says, you know, if they bust me for pimping, I'm going to go to jail. So I want you to go out there and keep enough mess going so the cops and everybody look at you, you hoe. All right. So, and it's just, and he don't care. But to see, here's the sad part about it. He really think he's a badass. And everybody is now the only people who ain't using him. And see, when he first ran, the Republicans said, we're gonna use him for our benefit. He bitch slapped the shit out of them. And now they falling in line. They all want to be his bottom bitch. Now, the reason I'm going with this terminology, and I know it sounds bad to your virgin ears, and it shouldn't be, right? But the thing of it is, it's the most insulting thing you can say to a man or to a person is to call them a bottom bitch or to be pimped by somebody else. But he pimped the Republican Party. He pimped his whole administration. He pimped the Supreme Court, all right?
So
But
can
the
be.
thing of it is, he is being pimped by the leaders in other countries. He is being pimped. Now, and Ukraine is saying, listen, all I asked you to do was give me some money so I could keep that pimp off my back. And Trump said, no, if I can be pimped by him, you should be pimped by him too. It's right. It's like a big
No,
saying, you got to have my pimp. He treats us good. He said, fuck, I ain't gonna be pimped by Putin, all right? I'm gonna fight that motherfucker, you know? Now, some people may look at the Ukraine and say, they just trying to pimp too. Yeah, whatever. But they ain't pimping this country. But everybody else is. And you know who else is pimping him and he don't and he's making money off of these IT guys, these big corporations. He got them in line to give him money, and they say, boy, he's really whipping them. No, they're getting away with murder. They're making the money.
really.
When in your common sense are you going to think the stock market is breaking records every day, right? If the stock markets are breaking records and these corporations are getting big
Yeah.
money, how come my gas is going up? How come it's harder to buy food? How come it's harder, everything is going up? It's because they're not sharing the fucking wealth. And Trump thinks, well, let the world be dry on gas. We pump enough gas. We can take care of ourselves. You motherfuckers ain't giving it to us. You think they're going to sell it to us cheaper than what the world market calls for?
He can't
Hell
even buy
no.
good.
Hell no. You know? And I listen to these politicians, especially these house Negroes, like that Scott in Carolina. Yeah, Mr. Trump. Yeah, the president, the gas has only went up a little bit. And the food prices are stabilized and things are going down. That nigga can't lie his way out of his drawers in the morning if they full of shit. You know, this guy unbelievable. And I'm sorry for the no,
Now,
I'm not sorry for
Sheets,
the attitude I'm taking.
just go ahead and
It's
walk off
insulting.
the cliff.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
insulting to
But
the
like I said,
common
they
sense
you know,
for them
it's
guys
crazy.
to do and
It's
say what
crazy,
they
and
do, and we're supposed to
um,
go, yeah, I
they're
can
not gonna
believe
stop
it.
there.
Yeah, I can believe it.
The thing
And
of it
then we go
is
jump off a
no,
cliff
they're
like
not. The thing of it is they
lemmings.
want to make it. They want to make it to where they have control and make sure. You know, one thing I say,
Just is
he
ridiculous, man.
I think his intentions were
Of
he
course
wants to
not.
be the shit. He wants to be all in all. And you know, this is the only person I know.
Definite.
Every time I turn around, he's putting his name on something, making statues. I mean, here I was, you know, riding. Next thing I know, I listened to NPR. They was talking about
Right.
if you're going to renew your passport, you know, they got limited editions with his picture on a gold picture of him on a I said, "What
Right.
the fuck I need his
Right.
picture for? I don't like it.
Right.
I don't care for it. So, I don't need that. Thank God I just renewed mine and I got the old one just the way it was. You know,
Right.
he has how can I put it? Shit, he got a fetish where, he wants to be
Yeah.
seen. He wants to be remembered as this great, well, asshole. Could I say that? Because he's doing a hell of a job. But he
Well,
will
you
go
know
down in
what?
history. He will go down.
He wants to be greater than Lincoln, greater than Washington. He wants to be like
No,
Julius
no,
Caesar. He wants to be like
no, no, no.
Napoleon.
He
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 wants to be a
he's
figure
doing a good.
that we carried on through
No,
history
he's doing a,
as
a
doing
hell of a
great
job
things.
of
And there's
making sure
nothing
that he go
great
down in
he
history
has
as
done.
being
He
the
thinks he
worst
has,
president,
or he'll
the
go down in history,
most
but it's
convict.
up to us to make sure he go down in history. And what I mean by down, I'm not talking about physical.
But that's the only place he gonna get praise. Because
Right,
anywhere
but
else,
we're
they gonna
not
call
help.
it for
We
what it
need to
is.
help him.
Absolutely
We
just
need to help
bullshit.
him be the worst
That's what it
president
is.
by
I mean,
denying him his glory. That's what I mean by
yeah,
going down. Because you got all these little bottom bitches up there praising him. Do you know? You understand what I'm saying?
I ain't let it out.
Well, we're gonna find out in a couple of months. You see, here's the thing. Even though he is now, I'm gonna say something and it may not make any sense, and you may not agree with it, this, that, or whatever. All right. The only people who's gonna stop him is
Hmm.
white people, and let me explain why. When they change around the congressional districts to make them all white, if the white folks in those districts, the majority of them, don't go for it and make a Democrat, and with the black vote, then he loses out. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I'm looking at it. Okay? All right. If they say, and they've got to look at it, and they're not gonna look at it and
Yeah,
say
he got him in a war that
he's
he can't
keeping
get out
us,
of.
he's doing this because of black folks and we need to vote for the black folks. No, they're not gonna vote for that. They're gonna vote because he's fucking up the economy. He's fucking up democracy. He's an authoritative of idiot. He's a narcissist on the highest level. Right. That's what I'm saying, how they have to take it in order to keep him out of power or to stay in power. And so as long as he keeps screwing up the economy, as long as he's insulting them,
In every
it's
category.
going to be the majority of the white independents that's going to make a difference. All
Hmm.
right. And then get the
Not just
Democrats
blacks.
in there, and then we'll see what they do if they can make a change. Because you look at the stats. He's underwater in just about everything, right? Right. So that means he's underwater with a lot of white folks. So they got to help keep him underwater. That's what I'm saying. Not just black. They got to keep him underwater. And the Latinos, they got to wake up. And I think a lot of them are. There was a guy who they arrested and they shipped him out and then they brought him back. Okay. And his wife, and because he hadn't seen his baby was born 2 months ago, and they got this guy, and he was legally here. He wasn't a citizen yet, but he had his papers. He was going through everything. All right. And they just grabbed him, and then they said, okay, we bring him back. Then they brought him back, and the dog and his sister and his wife and the baby, which he ain't never seen, was going to meet him out at the airport. And I said DHS or whatever these assholes are came and said, "Oh, we shipping him straight to a detention center, so you won't be able to see him." You
Hey,
see
I
the
want to
kind of
ask you a
crap?
question.
Now that news has
I
got to
want to ask you a
spread
question.
about
I'm gonna
that. You
change.
know,
I want to change directions here,
so it's
and then you can go
it's
back to
crazy,
what you
and a
said.
lot of that is
But
happening every day.
there's been attempts on his life, alleged attempts. Yeah. What kind of secret service do he have? I mean, have you ever heard any president having this many attempts? I mean, this last one, his brother ran through security, and they got pictures of them all standing against the wall. I'm like, how did this shit happen like that?
You talking about Trump? Yeah. What about it? I heard just the other day. It's surprising that you bring this up. I think it was yesterday. I think I heard on the radio something about over the 250 years of this country, there's been over 1,800 credible threats or attempts on presidents' lives. All right. And the majority now, if you want to talk about I'm talking about not attempts, just attempts,
Oh
but
yeah.
credible threats to their lives. All right. The majority of them was happening since the 80s, 1980s, or whatever. And remember correctly, I hope I'm correct about it, Obama has over 18 credible threats on his life. Okay. In other words, that's somebody saying something. That don't mean they attempted, but they were saying something. All right. Gerald Ford had an attempt on his life. I think maybe twice. Reagan was shot. All right. So it happens. Okay. The thing of it is, most people don't realize those things happen. But the funny thing about Trump attempts goes back to your thoughts on the Secret Service. What the hell are they doing? Now, you talk about the one that happened the other weekend. This guy runs through, I mean, shit. And, anyway, when the guy had the rifle out on the golf course and he's in the bushes with his rifle looking at Trump. I mean, don't the Secret Service check the grounds, and all that? That's the shot when he got shot in the ear. This guy's sitting on
Nah.
top of a roof that ain't that damn high that you could see somebody up there, and the
Because
Secret Service don't
I'm just
check the
saying, I'm
rooftop?
looking at it.
What the hell's going on?
I can't, you can't see it right
Now,
now, but it is,
you
it
can
is a
put it
disgrace.
as though,
Here
well,
you got
stupidity.
security.
The
They
Secret
leaning on the
Service
wall
ain't
like they sitting over
stupid,
there kicking.
all right?
And then you had the
Or
guy
you
running
can
through the
put
hood.
it
How
as
did he get
a
past it?
setup,
I mean, was this,
you know.
yeah. Oh, I get it. They're not Secret Service. This is the Pinkerton.
hmm And he had a rifle and he had a shotgun in his hand
Yes,
and
yes,
that
I
stuff
do.
like that.
Yes, I do.
He had his
Hmm.
guns out.
And I'm gonna give them a little more credit than I give these people. Yeah, well, this is crazy.
Give me
But
your Pinkerton my ass. Shit. Pinkerton. What do you think this is? The Wild
really,
Wild West back in 1864
they
or
was
some
waiting for
shit
their
like
plate to be
that?
served, waiting
Pinkerton
for their food to
detective.
come.
I don't know. Maybe they were sitting back smoking a
Nah,
doobie. I
listen,
don't know,
man,
man. you know,
because
who
it's
knows
all
what the hell
bullshit.
they
That's
doing.
why not.
I don't know.
All these attempts was set up. I
All
mean, you got
bullshit.
time, you're doing so bad. All this is basically a distraction from the
Yeah.
Epstein files. And the more shit that he create on the sideline, people will have the tendency to forget about the Epstein files
Mm.
and all the criminal charges that he got against him. Because you know something, I was listening to the other day and they was saying something about he got found guilty for molesting
hmm
that young girl, and he had to pay that.
Epstein or Trump? Epstein for molesting. Yeah, I know it was that woman in the mall or in the store or something like that while she was in the changing clothes or something like that. Yeah, he has to pay her. What was it? He had to pay her initially. It was 10 million.
He was
You
saying
know.
about the things that he accused Trump of doing. And so she didn't, yeah, she never said that that's what he was. She said, this is what he has on his manifest. And homie went off. Like, damn.
Right, about being a pedophile. Right, he went off. Yeah, because the guy said in the manifesto, no longer will I accept a pedophile in the office. Don't make me accept a pedophile for this, and that. He didn't say
Yeah.
nothing
Well,
about Trump. You don't hear enough outcry
radical.
from the people. Do you know what I mean? Now, you'll see it when they have no King's Day, but that people just look at them as just being Democrats or liberals or radicals or whatever. All right. Those are the crazy people. But I'm talking about the everyday people, even everyday MAGA people who should have an outcry. I mean, like, what?
So that's who he's going to invite
Are you
to
going to
his
have dance
ballroom so
classes too
he can
there?
teach everybody to dance.
You know? And here's the stupid part about it. He says, well, the ballroom is going to have an underground fortress, military, this and that, whatever, and you talking about 400 million. That shit, ain't no way you're going to have a $400 million ballroom with all that shit underground
You
with the
know,
military. Think how deep underground you're going to have to go. You know why? You couldn't bomb it, you couldn't do this or that. That's a crock of shit. All right. So you're looking at probably $400 billion rather than $400 million. Okay, because it's gonna cost you much to build a skyscraper. Now, here's the point I'm trying to make. At that is, you're the president of the United States. You're supposed to go someplace where it's secretive when they want to hide you out. You in a ballroom with all the administration, okay, with all the administrators, all your cabinet, all your high generals and all these politicians in there. All they got to do is just bomb that motherfucker, and the whole thing's gone because they know where you are. And even if you go underground, how you going to get out when they bomb everything on
You
top? Here's the
shit out of luck.
insulting part. We got these 2,000-pound buster bombs that are, bomb deep and all this and that. Why do you think China and Russia don't have the same thing? And if the way your Secret Service protects you when you at a convention, what the fuck you think they gonna do when they want to get you in your ballroom? And it's another insult. You know what? They're gonna make a doll out of him for the holidays. He's gonna be the real G.I. Joe, and he's gonna have these two big iron balls hanging from his crotch. This guy is a clown. He is a clown. He really is. Well, the people understand that they're behind us 100%. Wait a minute. You got a 31% approval, and you saying that the people are behind you 100%? 31% of them, 100% of that 31% is behind us, or
Listen,
whatever. We kicked ass and left them in disgrace. What?
yeah,
Or do you want me? Korea. What happened in Korea?
same thing.
They ended up splitting it north and south. Did they not? What happened in Vietnam? We ran our tails out of there. What happened in Afghanistan and what is it, Kuwait or what is that? Not
Okay,
Kuwait, whatever. What
there
happened
was
there?
a
All right, we came in there and started shit, and next
okay.
thing you know, ISIS took that over. Afghanistan, Libya, Syria. Come on, talk to me, bro. What kind of accolades are we living off of? Oh, I forgot. We did do one more thing. We did kick ass in Grenada. It lasted about 15 minutes,
Well,
but we kicked ass in Grenada. All right. And we brought that son of a bitch Maduro in from
pretty
Venezuela,
much.
and we
You
brought
know,
that son of a bitch in from
that's what they.
Panama.
We are the land of the free, but certain people, and
Yeah.
that's what they do now. I mean, I just listened to it, and like I said, it's a bumpy ride, real bumpy ride.
Right.
You see how far we have to go with this madness before, like you said, before the people realize and they just actually stand up and start saying, no more. I can't do no more of this, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And they put them politicians in position where they gotta be accountable because they're not. Most especially this Republican Party. Democrats, listen, they ain't got much balls as far as I'm concerned. I ain't gonna say all of them is that, but some of them, most especially them old ones, it's like they're
Right.
afraid to let it go. You know how when as you get older, there's certain things you don't do anymore because age just make you change, accept things for what they are. You, yeah, and that's what our political system is beat
Yeah.
because you have people in there with money dictating on how things should go, and it's been going on that far.
You just wore out. You wore out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Sanity is a choice. And the choice is that you don't swallow the shit. You let it out. Now, you and I, we let out stuff because we're complaining, right? We can complain on this podcast and
True.
just let it out. But the thing of it is, you have to express your disagreement in action, like one way voting, okay? I don't let it get me to a point of to where I'm gonna go crazy, want to get a gun and do anything. That's stupidity. No, that's not what that's not had nothing to do with sanity. It's the idea that we can discuss it, we can let it out, we can vent, we can go to the gym, work out, boxing, this, that, whatever it takes to work the stress off. Sanity is knowing that you understand that something is wrong and you don't accept the wrong as it being okay that it is that way. All right. That's the ostrich sticking his head into the sand. You know, you get tired. I've known people, and there's a lot of people out there, like we discussed once before, during the last election, there was over 80 million people who was eligible to vote that didn't vote. Those are the people who go, "Oh, well, what the hell? You can't do nothing about it anyway." All right. Those are the people who lost their damn sanity. The people who go out into the street who protested like they did during No King's Day, that's one of the way to get the stress off you. But their sanity is you either want to
No,
hold on
but
to it, let it go, however you get it, you take that
no, they
stress
don't.
of it, right? Right.
Listening to this thing on I think it was YouTube, but it was talking about, you know, how this is something old where they used to have like a black doll and a white doll, and you put it in front of your kid and ask them which one they take, you know, and they would say the white one, you know, and they say, "Why that? Which one is the bad one? The black one," you know. You know, I always thought, you know, yeah, because when you look on television or any place, you know, who do you see first?
Right. 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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but my point is that, you know, is so ingrained in our kids that when they see television, they see white first. They don't
You
see
see,
black.
white,
That's my
but it's
point.
important that we do know about
No,
slavery. It's
no,
very important because the other things, even in the knowledge of the history of slavery, there was also great
no,
things we've done during that time. All right. No, no, that's not our history. That's not our beginning story.
no.
No, it's not, because they look at it as though our history starts in 1619 as slaves coming over in the boat. No, it do not. But also we have to understand too, back in Africa where we came from, not everybody is a king or a queen. All right. You had people there that were. You had people there that did this, soldiers, that were armies. You had this, you had that. Okay, so you may not be a descendant of a king or a queen, but you are a descendant of a people, knowledgeable people, a society. You look at Egypt and all the stuff that Egypt had way thousands of years ago, and you kind of wonder right now, why isn't it there now? What happened to them? They was on the cutting edge of politics, the cutting edge of military, the cutting edge of a society or whatever, science or
Mhm.
medicine or whatever. That Middle East was the cutting edge. But people want you to think the Middle East included Libya, Egypt, and all that, Morocco and all that area. Shit, that was Africa, okay? They want you to think it was the Middle East. That's Africa. It may be considered the Middle East because of that area, but that's Africa. Where is all that brain power now that build the pyramids? When did they lose it? Why did it lose? Well, Greece and
Yeah,
Rome and all them took a lot of that from us. But you have to understand, Rome was just as black in Italy as it was northern Africa. They was shit. The distance between Rome and northern Africa was like you going
that's true.
from Los
But
Angeles
we
to
need
Seattle,
to
maybe.
find out.
You know what I'm saying?
And
It was travelable. You could travel to it. All right, and go around the history. But there's a lot to us that we don't know. But right, and you know what? And them people need to accept it. You son of a bitches over there in Arabia, you think that because you're in Saudi Arabia and you're in Egypt and you're in those countries over there, the United Emirates and all this and that. Stop acting like y'all white folks. Y'all ain't white folks. You're black folks, okay? Stop acting like you're white. You ain't white. As a matter of fact, there was no difference in color until white folks created white and created black for the separation of the classes. And that didn't happen probably until maybe the
yeah,
17th, 18th century, maybe, or something like that, because everybody traveled across here to there, go damn near anywhere. And the only way you could tell the difference, if you look at biblical, The only way you could tell the difference between the Hebrews and the Egyptians was their clothing. They thought Moses was a fucking Egyptian, all right? But then when they found his baby blanket, which had the Hebrew colors and weave in it, they said, oh, that son of a gun is,
Yep.
hell, he's
You have
Hebrew. What the
Mexicans
fuck is he's a
that's
prince
darker
of
than us.
Egypt? Where that shit come from? You know? So, let's stop fooling ourselves. In this world, everything
Yep.
wasn't strictly white or black. Hell, you go to Cambodians. I've worked with Cambodians that darker than me. All right. They got statues. You got Mexicans, Filipinos, Indians. You got people from India. God, they darker than Africans. All right. So, and then you got the nerve. Everybody thinks Mahatma Gandhi, oh, Mahatma Gandhi, this and that. He was a racist. He didn't believe in the black people having any political power or any black people have anything. And look at the color of that son of a bitch. There's a lot of history we don't know how those people act. Italians, you got Italians darker than us. All right. And then there was a segregation between Northern Italy and Southern Italy. All right. But mainly things were broken down on your tribe. Okay. So the history, the point I want to make is this.
Who made a lie?
Lot of the reason I'm looking at how we got ourselves into this position is because we changed truth. We changed what was true. We made a lie a truth.
Yeah.
Huh? People. Okay. It depends on what time in history you want to take it. We could take Hollywood, change the lie of what was going on in Egypt to white Cleopatras and white this and white Marcus Anthony's and white this and that. And what makes the change of a truth so devastating is when it's accepted. And they changed our history and we accepted it. We didn't know no better. But now we are trying to know better. Hey, it's a lie, because there was always a slave who said, screw you, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? But once they did. But the difference between the slave, people say there's slave all around the world. There was slavery. Yes, it was. But the slavery here was a whole new different type of slavery.
Not treated
it was a chattel slavery. In other words, you could never have freedom. You'll never get paid for your work. You couldn't buy your way out of it. And when you had children, they were born as slaves. So you were not a people, you were property. That's right. You were property, and they made loans off of how much you were collateral. You were property. You were collateral for loans. Okay. That's what made it different. You traded your slaves like you traded sugar for coffee. All right. I'll send you 2 slaves. You send me a couple 100,000 bags of cotton or this or that coffee or tea or this or that. You were a product. You weren't a human being. All right. That's the difference between slavery here in this country and slavery where else throughout history. You was born a slave. You were no good. You could never be free.
Same thing.
It's still going on today. But see, people will say, well, that was back then. This is today. Honey child, as they say in the South, honey child, if you don't know your history, you don't know shit who you are today. Get your act together. If you don't know why, because you don't know when.
That's a lie.
You got to go back. You got to tell. And it's a hard truth to accept. A very hard truth, So the subject today was truth. What happened to the truth? The truth is a lie. But what we have to do is not accept the truth. So what is actually true made it. But you're trying to say, no, that isn't what I was trying to do. Fuck that. You did it. Okay? So it's too late to try to say no. Right. And that's a lie. That's right.
Same here.
Well, anyway. Well, Mr. Anthony, the truth of it is our time has run out. We're kind of fast today.
That's all.
Right. But change is scary. But you got to stand up to it because you ain't got a choice. Either you go with it or you don't. And if you don't, change is still going to happen. So you got to do something with it. And what happened in Louisiana is a change. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit back? I don't need to vote because they going to get their way anyway. It's always going to be like that. The only reason to be like that because they know it's
Come
this
on.
lazy ass some bitch like you
I tell
going
you
to
what,
accept a lie. Change.
this is just like the barbershop.
Anyway, you send a note to garnettcounseling.com in care of Mended Men Conversations.
And I'm Anthony
And
Washington.
we'll take it from there. And if you'd like to say
Mended
something,
Men's
we'll send you a
Conversations.
link.
Come
So the
join
next
us.
time we have our show, you can drop on in and make your comment.
All right, later.
You're damn right. Say your opinion. And we just go from there. But right now, just like the barbershop. Right. This is Titus Garnett. See you next time. See you later, brother.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Mended Men's Conversation. If something we shared resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it. Remember, healing is a journey, and you don't have to walk it alone. Stay connected with us, subscribe to the podcast, and join the conversation online. Until next time, keep growing, keep healing, and keep building your legacy.